Let's tell you about Parliament, rather. It says it does not have enough money to deal with the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, and that has to do a lot with the finances or a lack thereof due to budget cuts. We speak to Wayne Duvenage. He is with the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, is the CEO, and he joins us. Wayne, good morning to you. More so to give us your understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, we find it quite ludicrous that Parliament now tells us that they don't have enough funds and need more funds to deal with the Zondo's recommendations of state capture. They've got enough money to have sonar addresses, which are very expensive. They've got enough money to double the secretary's salary. They've got enough money to get from Treasury an extra 300 million rand per annum for political party funding, and yet they don't have enough money to tackle the real issues that are bringing this country down, which is corruption. So we think that's a weak excuse. We think that Parliament needs to get its house in order, stop making excuses, stop spending the money, find the savings within Parliament, and get down to those recommendations if we're going to tackle corruption and take it seriously in this country.
Well, we understand that the budget was cut by some 214 million rand in the 2023-2024 financial year, and more cuts are expected. Is that another excuse?
Yeah, it is. I mean, firstly, I think the ruling party then, when it comes to Enoch Godongwana, needs to find this fund and make it available. We all know that if you tackle corruption, you'll be able to free up a lot more funding for the state to do its work. So corruption should be number one on the list, on the priority list of Treasury, and the Minister of Finance, Parliament, and they should be implementing those recommendations with speed. But quite frankly, it doesn't cost a lot of money to introduce the additional oversight committees because you've got those people in Parliament. The recommendations are not very onerous from a cost point of view. It is about exposing the lack of the constituency work that takes place, about ministers being absent from committee meetings, and to just stop this rubber stamping of executive decisions, apply a little bit of funds to the resources that are required for research and input to advise the committees on how to tackle some of these things. Their oversight and accountability mandate is really missing when it comes to putting it into action, and that doesn't require a lot of funding. So this to us is an excuse. But again, we say, how do you find 300 million rand on top of all the other funds that are allocated to political party funding? And they tried to pass another bill recently to give political parties more funding. I don't think if the ruling party was broke, that would have happened. All of that is rubber stamped, and yet we cannot find funds to deal with corruption. It is an absolute travesty. It's a weak excuse, and I don't think Parliament is taking its role seriously.
Will you be engaging Parliament? What is the recommendation then?
Well, the recommendations from our side, and we did do a report last year on exactly this issue, that Zondo's report has been out for nearly 2 years. Very little seems to be happening. We do an annual report on Parliament's lack of oversight, and we'll be beefing that up with more of a digital dashboard and a more live reporting this coming year. And we've already engaged with Parliament recently, who asked us to give some input on this report that we're doing. So I think they know very, very clearly how we feel, and we'll be engaging with them more regularly on this matter. But we just cannot understand why they make statements like this. They really don't have a will, we believe, to tackle corruption and take it seriously, and that is sad.
Wayne Duvenage, thank you very much for your time this morning, CEO of OUTA. And just a note to our viewers that we will continue to petition the relevant officials from Parliament for a right of reply.